welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. We hope you're having a happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to tonight's broadcast. We got a matchup in NACE Star League Division 1 Valorant. Boise State is going to go up against Michigan State. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. I am joined by Greg Smith, calling all of the action for you as it transpires. And Greg, why don't you let us in on what the stakes are for this particular match?
Yeah, you said this was Division 1. We're battling for control of Division 1 here, and I don't want to call it a rivalry. I don't want to call it a
Doc's keys to the game in Valorant, and that's going to be to make sure your chat starts every round, stay off the copium, rip, then flow, and like Wyatt, go all in. Get on into Bind and see the agent selection coming through here. Looks like Michigan State is on the left, Boise State on the right, and pretty standard picks all around. We do see Gecko being brought out by Skelesis.
This is the Spartans versus the Broncos. A little bit of a spring kickoff here this Valentine's Day in NACE Star League Division 1. One thing that makes me happy is seeing the Sky come out for both sides, because I know we recently had a Sky nerf, and YouTube was going crazy on how it takes him out. One player left. He's not going to go for the plant, might wrap back around first.
Yeah, he's got time to work with.
Yeah.
And now he's picked up that Sheriff, so it can be a one. I mean, if he lands just one shot here onto Frodo, it's over.
And I wasn't even looking at the clock. That first little boil down in the beginning was so fast.
Left.
Still got 40 seconds. Gets it down now. They've got all three men to arm their angles. And you see a little bit of utility coming around. The rim line there.
Launching smoke.
Gonna drop another one. All three players making their way downtown. Dino taking second, moving up to his third.
Can he
fourth.
even get an ace?
No.
Move on out, get into the firefight. Nice wallbang. Prestige is down to 2 apiece. Down to 1. Can Boise State bring this back? They were so down in people, and they might have a chance to actually win this. There's going to be a paint shells brought out. Doesn't look like it even catches the Seekers to get the information. It's instantly taken out, but Prestige has the crosser.
Third kill for the round.
Early Hawk thrown through, not finding anybody. Boise State looks like they might go for a pinching action toward A short. If they can take all three out, it's 1-for-1 trade on one. Boise State has the off angle, tears right through Michigan State, and has a green light to go on toward A. They're
in the middle of A open.
Yeah, that's so far up to push.
It's just an awkward place. I mean, it's a great spot for a couple of mollies, and we could even see. I don't see we're going to see the ult on top of it. I don't think they'll double down for it. They did leave it alone for a little bit. Rariana's able to steal it, but with 2 more players, they have to convince this back.
Oh, that was scary.
They have to keep an open ear about it. They know those knives have been popped. Per the nice green band on the Michigan State player. Look, this man's being hunted down, and it's never enough.
Down, B.
Slammed. Stays true to his name and moves up just one more rung.
The true assassin.
Just another one, the 3K now.
Stabs you with a knife in the back out. Damio picks up 1 Prestige, bringing in a double. Can he possibly? He's picked up a gun, so he has some even footing, and he is at full health to boot. He's going to send out the Seekers. Can this be another clutch come from behind victory like the first? He'll start to put a bit of pressure onto Michigan State. My goodness, that's a free one. We're down to a one-on-one. Moving in. Does he know, though?
Oh, no.
Oh, he gets it!
My goodness.
The wall bang right.
Oh, the crossing didn't come out either.
The outlaw. But another great classic pick by Rariana and Damio as well. Those are 3 guns. And man, I don't care if they have classics. If you got an angle like that, you... One of the most brutal comebacks I've ever seen.
Oh, through the wall. Does find 1 Prestige. Can't get the second. That's game 1. Michigan State takes it in a flash.
And then, yo, fam, if you need a boost to slay those all-night gaming sessions like Boise State's Damio, then Rip Then Flow has got your back. With its lit blend of caffeine, electrolytes, and copium, you'll be vibing and staying in the zone all day long. Get ready to level up and unleash your inner beast with Rip Then Flow, no cap. I'm jiggy with it. I'm a regular 50. Here we can see Lotus with Ascent on deck. MSU will have the first attack. We don't know who yet is going to be attacking on Ascent.
Ban locking, just hard banning immediately.
Prestige, I don't know what he's doing. Prestige and Daimyo, I think we're being bamboozled here. Yeah.
Some bamboozlage. Daimyo.
No, fool me once, fool me twice. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Nice controller.
They don't have all of the, util that, Ray's had, or KJ's util can specifically just go after the fights. I think it's just, he's just so good at gunplay that no matter who he's playing, he's going to be a huge threat.
It's a little bit scattered still as people are just watching their backs. They don't know what's going to feel like skies with two quickly. That's good for the mindset, good for the momentum. Can they take round one? Rariana finds one. They close in on that last player. It is strong. There's cheering.
They needed that one more than anything, just as a feel-good thing to here goes the main push on toward B. Can Boise State do this? They try for the initial wall bang, trying to take out that Viper, not going to find it. Has to move around the corner, and now Rariana's back up. Nice headshot by the Broncos. Rariana picks up another one, and this could be a flawless, I would say, is just what the Broncos...
Daimyo's coming around, watch this corner with him. Might be peeking out on a Frodo. Sure enough, that defender Killjoy is going to get popped. Important to have those ults out. Some of the first ults that we've seen this game. Wow, a little bit too much eye contact there. Frodo and Frog. Take quite a few. Rariana gets one. Find another.
He's going to need to land the headshot.
So much, too, with the clock all
in. I think this actually could be a very
go
quick and in-your-face push by the Broncos.
Well, it's always a fun one. Here it is, yeah.
Here I go, I called it. Oh, manages to find it against Slam. That's a great first start. And look at the blind that comes out. Daimyo takes full advantage of it. Prestige also gets one. Now there's just one Spartan left, and they've got him surrounded, but of course it's Frodo. And they took so many Broncos to take him out.
Trade though, Michigan State with one man left, and there he is. Oh, still grinding away. This man will not clock out. He's made 3. He brought it down. He watched the pot boil down to a 1v1. Rariana holding the smokes, though. It's not his clock. He can wait for the plant, right? But a whole minute left. You'd like to just end it. There it is. Nice.
Out around the corner, door is open, doesn't spot anyone through it. Fire being exchanged around the mound. It dies down for just a bit. Can they find out, flush out Ice Bear? That's a long ways to push up. Michigan State has already moved up toward B. They're spending a good amount of ultimates as well. Viper's Pit and Killjoy. Michigan State until that last round. So can they even it up again? Rariana with a sneaky position here. I like this. If you don't have the gun advantage, just get them. By mistake, that's a nice double ultimate. It's the same two that Michigan State spent last round. Around 4, Frodo manages to flush him out, and now they'll move forward with the defuse, with the help of the Viper's Pit. But Michigan State still knows where they planted, so they can just move around the corner and take it out. Prestige, no, that's not going to be enough.
Devastating.
Guys, bites the dust.
Last player standing.
ADS lined all up, but Ice Bear beats him to it. One man left. Oh, it is a weighted one, though. He's such a strong player that he's able to bring it into a 1v1.
This could be a huge reset for the half. Rariana nice
for the half. They made this miraculous switch.
I think you could tell things definitely just kind of fell apart in Ascent. As soon as Frodo... I think very crucially, I'll get to my thought in a second, but there's a huge firefight right now, trades back and forth. Rogue gets a triple. Frog also getting one. It's up to Skies. He's not going to be able to do it. It's going to be
disciplined
a huge
angle
blind around the corner.
Seeing the entire Boise State stack committing pretty hard to A site. You see both of these walls comes up, a couple of blinds. The Paranoia now dropping one after another. Trying to get the Decay to come back together, finds one. Rariana
shot. That's basically what you need against the Spartans. Moving forward. Ooh, nice damage. Daimyo locks it down onto Frodo. They have an advantage moving in, but Ice Bear takes it back to a 3v3. Broncos fighting all they can. They're back up to a one-person advantage.
Watching down the wall here, Skelis is ready to take one. As soon as they make their way in, Ice Bear is going to find Daimyo, which is not fantastic.
Frodo eliminated, trying the flank, finds it just above the wall. A teleport in from the Omen. Ice Bear, nice job. Ayana gonna push up so far, gets a view onto Michigan State.
Dodges the Paranoia, and the Viper's Pit is gonna hold him back. Dodges the Sky Flash as well. Daimyo gets the pick around, and they're throwing even more util in. What an area this train just keeps on pushing through. Next stop into the A site. Defense is there to meet them at
so
at the door.
dangerous to go that corner. There's 3 stacked up there with high ground advantage as well. And they just lay right into the Broncos. This could be the final push from the Broncos. It will be. Frog picks up the double to end it. GGs will head out, and
Odd review bringing up that you only learn from playing people who are your level or better, and you want to be quality, you want to play strong, and you want to have those broccoli.
welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you join us for 2 exciting Valorant matches. The first one is going to be a NACE Star League versus University of South Florida, and then we've got a Mountain West opener for Boise State, and you're not going to want to miss that one. That happens later on in the night at 8 p.m. But for now, I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. I'm joined by Greg Smith, calling all of the action. Greg, Boise State is going up against University of South Florida, and why don't you tell us just a little bit about where the Broncos have been in the past and why that makes this match so important?
Yeah, they were doing strong pretty well for a while there, but last week it was Valentine's Day, and like many other gamers that day, they had problems connecting, and it did not go over fantastically. It was a 2-0 loss, and now they're looking to pick up a little bit more steam against South Florida. Hopefully, and we're being hopeful, this should be an easy game for them.
Also talking about the past, Boise State faced South Florida yesterday, I believe. No, not yesterday, Monday, excuse me, in Rocket League, and actually lost that match in the NACE Star League Division I matches. Boise State was going up against a team that was winless. South Florida was 0-3, and yet South Florida picked up a win against them unexpectedly and kind of shook up the whole division. So you could say that there might be a little bit of revenge to be gotten by the Valorant squad against South Florida, of a team that dinged their fellow teammates in terms of Rocket League. But if they want to do that, they're going to have to follow Doc's keys to the game in Valorant, and those keys to the game are going to be to chat your strats every round, stay off the copium, rip then flow, and then like Wyatt, go all in. It's brought to you by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. You can also take a look at the lineup that we have going on, what the first stage we are going to be competing on is. Boise State team that definitely likes to favor the classics in terms of Valorant, all the ones that are well played, Haven, Ascent, and Bind. And I was seeing a little bit earlier on an earlier scrim, they were playing a game in Bind, so maybe it's just they're in a Bind mood today. I don't know about you.
They can be. Sometimes they are, and sometimes they get, I don't want to say stuck in the rut, but focused on what, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So playing it safe is always a good call to play, but we'll see if the pro scene shakes up anything, or if they just want to take a different route as we get deeper and deeper into the bracket.
This could be the start of a great revenge story for the Broncos, but we still have to actually play out this match against University of South Florida. The Bowls, actually, too, so you got a Bowl-Bronco matchup,
That's
too.
true, yeah.
Nice alliterative one.
Yeah, if the vengeance is out there, Broncos would definitely like to take it, but they're going to have to take the bull by the horns and get into the arena and play well there. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I see you've been practicing. I very much approve.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to be practicing up on the desk, and we get here as often as we can. And the boys have been practicing, too. They have been lined up against the keyboard and mouse, so we'll have to see what they can put out onto the stage. We'll have to get a lineup to get any more information on what they'll be playing today.
Might I just say, also while we're waiting, I really like the color coordination here.
It's
you
nice.
look like that is a true outdoorsy Idaho classic there, if I've ever seen it.
Hopefully the Bulls appreciate their support in green from the desk, but the Broncos would love to prove that they can't use it.
And we're going to be dropping back into Icebox. It was out of the competitive rotation for a bit in the fall semester, but now it's back in spring. And we are seeing Boise State start to lock into some very familiar picks. Of course, you got to bring the Viper out. She's a must-pick on so many different stages. And we're seeing a hovering over the harbor, which is going to be taken.
Yeah, it's nice to have those walls available. Obviously, the space-taking duelist is so important in such an open map that it's hard to grab someone like Phoenix. And after those walls start to diminish and they don't really want to take Sage, then it's a big pick to have Viper to be able to cut up that territory and to grab Harbor, who has got some more walls.
Well, here we go. Boise State ready to face up against University of South Florida on Icebox in the first of this best-of-3 matchup. Can the Broncos start a great comeback story and best the team that scored an unexpected win against their comrades on Monday? We're going to have to get down to the frozen, icy, frigid tundra to see how things turn out. Also, it kind of reminds me just the fact that it's been so warm lately in terms of it being February around here.
Yeah.
The groundhog didn't see a shadow, and hey, it seems like he was right on. Early spring for us, we're not having to endure weather like what we see on Icebox.
Yeah, it's very true. He usually sees that shadow, but we got out of it this time, and we're out of the winter soon. Hopefully, we don't have a Midwest problem where the winter comes back, and then it's second spring and third winter, but
yeah,
we'll see.
That is true. That does tend to happen here a lot, too. You have the false spring and then the second winter.
Yeah.
But enough about our winter. Let's actually get down to the match. Boise State will be starting off on defense. The South Florida looks to be pushing a coordinated push around B. They're all grouped up as a team. Boise State has a few locked on the sidelines. We'll see how they do in that scenario. Master having filled up on one ability. And Hades is going to find the first elimination against the Broncos. They're going to continue on under the cover of that Viper wall. Boise State repositioning just a little here. The plan is going down, and it is not gotten. They bailed out at the very last minute.
A shame, because now the spike is kind of in the middle of the field here. It's a B-side commitment, and people have already gone down. Boise State missing one player, but having all 4 defensive people there, I mean, they're not on the clock. It's South Florida that needs to make the move here. A little bit of cursor distraction as some util goes down with the wall up. The attacking South Floridians are able to get in there and get a little bit of damage done. Prestige finds one, and Faked is going to get the reply there. Skill Assist puts in 40% of the team before going down, and Master closes it out. But South Florida has one man remaining, and Faked does an expert job.
That came down to just 17 health for the last bull. Faked pulls off a quad to be able to grab the pistol round. Unless Boise State can turn things around in a flash, that will be a second round easy win for South Florida as well.
It's true. It's true. It's devastating to lose by 17 health right there, but it does say that the caliber between these two teams is pretty close. I mean, we had some strong play there for the field. We're going to see if a rotation to A side is going to change anything as the spike waits in the pocket. It's a little bit, not a streamlined force to A, but they're definitely teasing it. Ooh, but it's enough contact on B to get all of the Boise State players at least considering bailing out. We got a couple hanging around in mid. Prestige and company. Skelesis moving right down for a little bit of a flank action here as the responses on B weren't as solid as they were last turn. Plus, they're in the eco, so they can get right up in your face. Jobby is having to deal with that. At least a bit of it himself.
That was one of Doc's keys to the game, was to go all in. So maybe the Broncos, as long as they can pick up 1 or 2 eliminations, will be happy. But they'll place the smoke down and get on out of there. And you see South Florida's made their way all the way up to A. They got their KJ on there. Not holding the spike, however, but far away from the team and going to be an easy pickup. But there's a flank coming out from the center. Actually, no, they're taking the main route up A. Going to win 2 and plant the spike with only 1 Bronco left.
And that is the second round that we've seen Boise State go into a team fight with 4v5. And it's not often we talk about team fights in Valorant, but they seem to be happening. When they do, you want that numbers advantage. Rariana would love to make just a little bit more money off of this and come out a little bit ahead. Oh, a missed classic alt fire. And that's all it takes. Faked with a quick crouch and a little bit of jiggle. Dodges the next one. A couple of body shots, and that is Faked. 5th, 6th elim for the round.
Definitely enough to be sitting on that ultimate. Empress now online.
Definitely
so. But yeah, didn't only have 1 shot, but maybe 1 or 2 there, actually, as we can see here. That was a bit of not only jiggling on the side of Faked here, but also just on Rariana. Kind of overswings to the right, and That's a little bit concerning, but Boise State will now have full rifles. We'll see what they can do in this scenario.
Full rifles just kind of holding in these angles from Boise State's perspective to get you a feel of what it's like to be defending with fresh munition. As they're looking in round 3, all of the guns are out, and it's a nice slow, almost tentative feel from South Florida as we're not getting a lot of action on any avenues here. The clock is ticking. They're forced to funnel their forces down the B hallway, leaving Spike and Pocket for a little bit of extra options. First contact on B as we have a shoulder peeker. Just kind of feeling things out here. Fake.
Tries to swing around. Can they land the headshots? That's been the main thing that's been evading the Broncos. They're going to be able to bait out some shots immediately, throw out the smoke. And it's going to be another standoff, but time is a-ticking. They've picked up the spike and have 45 seconds left, so if they're going to make a rotation back over to A, they better do it now, but it seems that the push for B is going to go forward. Here they go. Can Boise State get a quick headshot? They aren't able to find it there, but Skies comes in. That's the one tap he was looking for, able to take out Hayden. Now Boise State up 1 as the plant goes down. They're trying to get a wall bang around toward the spike planter. It's going to be the wingman that gets the spike. Master picks up one, where Ariana comes in for another, and Boise State also has a flank on deck here that could prove very beautiful.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to catch a couple people off guard. Boise State going in for the defuse, but undergoes a little bit of that utility. Pushing them off, vulnerability is low. But that's all the effort they can put into it after a one last frag. South Florida has no mans left. There's plenty of clock time, no problem.
And of course, you are expected to win that round off of the gun advantage, but oftentimes in the second and third round, the ones that are kind of dependent on how the first pistol round takes out, it's not so much whether you win or lose that I look at, but what are the margins that you win or lose? Is the other team able to take a few people off to put a dent in your credits? And Boise State, that was a very much needed win for them. They didn't lose a single person, so they'll be going into this next round with probably enough credits built up that next round, if they lose, they can still buy for a full purchase.
Yeah, and it's not just round 3, but round 2 and 3. And Boise State did some decent damage when they were scheduled to lose anyway, so they've been strong for the last 2 rounds. And remember, round 1 was only down to 17 health, so it's a little bit up in the air here. Boise State would love to fight back, and it's been nice and even. That first wall is going out as it is a clear push onto B again. So we've had 2 hits onto B and only 1 onto A, though that does not correlate or correspond to the 2v1 scoreline right now, so it's still even chance whether they go for B or A. Got 2 members flanking on the defensive side around, but they're being watched. Ooh, turn away at just the wrong time, and Skies takes one on to Hayes. With Hayes down, it's only 4v5, and Boise State starting to intercept this push pretty gracefully. Not a lot of ground has been taken by South Florida, and the wall is available, but it's not up.
Boise State still keeping a watch over B. It's been the main route that South Florida has fancied themselves for, and they got the one-person advantage. So South Florida might try to change things up, maybe try to use the Thrash to maybe find some sort of concuss around, or they pop the Empress with the Reyna. South Florida moving slowly. A lot of util being thrown out. Some mollies in form of the snake bite.
Yeah, that
Plant goes down. Huge
Ooh.
pick by Skelesis. And the spike doesn't get planted. Someone else has to move in there, but that means Boise State can keep an eye on it. They find it and tie things up 2-all.
A little bit of a long fight for Skies, considering that he didn't get out with the kill at all. But he still did put in a lot of damage, which will be important, as his team fight mentality of all of the defensive holding the gates here, not flinching to A at all. While the attacking side decides to coordinate all that utility and come flying in at once. Kind of makes it a little bit messy. A lot of angles are live all at the same time, and you have these issues where Skies from above is just kind of adding pepper damage.
Now heading into round 5, Boise State has a chance to really make things shine here. They have the Reckoning online for the Harbor, so could help clear out. I mean, if South Florida's as bunched up as they have been going through B, then a good Reckoning there could land a lot of concusses, but it seems like they're changing up their strategy, doing a bit of a split push between A and B.
That split push is starting to weaken out a little bit. We still do have the spike uncommitted. They might want to rotate, but for now it's a little bit of mid, a little bit A. Boise State happy to just burn down the clock as we pass 60 seconds now.
And it looks like a pretty solid push through mid. Boise State has this KJ. He's going to get a sideline on a few. Can they land a headshot? No, they actually go under the tube on toward B, throwing out a wall. But the Hunter's Fury, they're lined up like lemmings, and Skelesis collects. Boise State up 5-3 and could take the lead for this round.
Yeah, Boise State making sure to play a little bit back seat on that one was just the call, considering that they had the appropriate ultimates in hand. It's nice to save that Hunter's Fury for when the KJ decides to put down, but if you've got it, you need to use it. Using an ult to get around is always going to be worth it.
I mean, a lot of the ults Boise State has kind of have an area of effect, you know, kind of a sphere of influence. And the Hunter's Fury, if they're all lined up in a line or a narrow hallway, can really help. So Boise State, it seems their old strategy is wait for South Florida to group up through the choke points and then just let one of those suckers rip.
Now, we've seen quite a bit of that already. This team fight mentality, which gives you the ability to coordinate your util and to open several live angles at once. I mean, we haven't seen any real split pushes yet. Here it is happening again. They're going to piggyback off of one ultimate to go flying in while Boise State's still collecting their thoughts. Going to sit a little bit back seat and let them take over, maybe play.
That's 2 ults spent in 1 round. Viper's Pit now down. Can they pick up Thrash again for another use? They go in,
Whoa.
No fear whatsoever, checking all the corners. Boise State is wanting to fight in low visibility. They find one. That is insane, and it's the Viper to boot. So the Viper's Pit will drop. They peek out around, got a little bit too careless there, but they can body protect the present. They'll get a half stick on it, but they need to recover because they're losing a lot of people.
Yeah, they are. I mean, going live to 3 players at once like that for getting greedy and pushing across the wall. Time is low. It is looking very tough for the Boise State, and South Florida knows it. They're just playing around the corners, just waiting for any tag noises, and one by one, Hades picks off 4 players total to close up, bring us to 3v3.
I definitely think that could have been a situation where the Broncos won. They had 2 players left, so a good coordinated push could have baited out Hayden from his vantage point, and Prestige could have taken him at an off angle, but things just weren't coordinated there, so it turned into a series of successive one-on-ones, which, if you have the high ground like South Florida did, it's going to be a lot easier to secure.
That is very true. Those walls were just so effective, having the Harbor Wall ready and having the Viper's Wall behind that, and Boise State wasn't coordinated with it either. It seemed like the Viper was being a little bit destructive here. Rariana looking to bring it back together.
Look at this push through B as well. Rariana, you can get 1 or 2. That's going to be a good push with the Cascade. Going to hold South Florida back in B choke. Some fire being exchanged. Rariana decides to get on out of there. Doesn't want to take too careless a position. Will wait with the crosshair placement lined up. Can he land it? Nice shot by Skies on the op. Already striking fear into the hearts of South Florida, but Skies had to pay for it with a lot of damage. Is now down to only 5 health.
Yeah, speaking of striking, he really took the strike as well. Something to note, though, in A side, we just had players holding off angles, including the spike. Holding the spike just in an off angle, waiting for some players to maybe come around the bulls.
This could be great for Skelesis.
Skelesis.
Land it.
Could get a lot of money off of here, but just didn't pull it right. Assumed that a player would be coming in through the middle, safeguarded themselves from the right angle. This could be the opportunity to get a little bit of a flank going, though.
Lockdown placed to clear out A, but Boise State has one of their own, so that might be placed right after the plant goes down. Put South Florida in an odd position. Yeah, that's state of play. Skelesis gets a nice head tap onto South Florida. Now it's 5-3. Plant is going to go down, even though the Killjoy is right there. That's going to result in a detain. And Boise State moves in on a nice flank. Could end this in a flawless. Checks their back, and they know where he is now, though, so they shouldn't lose anyone more.
Nope, and they got the defense in there. Planting during the detain, I mean, that's a bold strategy. You have to have a Hunter's Fury ready. You've got to have an Orbital Strike ready, and it just wasn't there.
It just really didn't seem to work there, Cotton.
I mean, Boise State can't do anything with a spike that's not planted. If you just leave the spike there in the detention zone, you might lose just on time alone, but you're definitely going to lose if you give them the chance to just free defuse. So that was a tricky one. He was definitely caught in an awkward position where you create a magnet inside this bubble, and you might be able to shoot at it, but you're one wall away from just an easy defuse. Boise State up by a point as we move closer and closer to the half.
Even split push between A and B, 2 up the main routes, 1 lurking behind. If any sort of advantage can be open, Cascade thrown out from Boise State into the narrow doorway. That's going to force 2 of their players to move back from B and coalesce either around a mid or A push.
And again, that South Florida ferocity is just not there unless they can hold a hand on everyone's shoulder. The Bulls are only charging in packs here, and we see these 2 that were on the B site carry themselves over to A, where only off angles and dead angles are being held, and everyone comes rushing in and starts setting up. They are a very coordinated team when they're together, but apart, it's weak.
Prestige moves in with the nade. Plant goes down. Won't be stopped this time. Boise State looking to get one quick head tap. Master picks it up against Joby, but it's answered back by Fake with a nice shot on the Sheriff. Prestige puts the Broncos back into an advantage. They put the Cloud up to just protect the defuser.
Yeah, save the President here. 2 people just go to be distracting. 1 falls, not a problem. Even more utility. Oh, no issue nevertheless. Davy Gravy held at bay was all they needed.
Yep. That's good. That's what I thought they could have done 2 rounds ago, but they weren't able to pull it off there. But here it worked out for them. You know what else I'm recognizing?
What are you
recognizing? This is a little bit of a Valorant rodeo, if you will, because we got bulls and broncos. We've got basically every animal that you traditionally see at a rodeo.
That's true. Love to keep the steam under their belt here as things get heated on the ice.
I don't think they have rodeos this far up north, though. I don't think that's an Arctic tradition.
Well, you know, they're probably jealous because this is what it would look like.
If this is what rodeos look like, then hey, I'm all in. Enough about rodeos, however. Let's get to the next push from B. The crosshair placements line up. The Rain Eye is going to be thrown out to try to flash him, but instantly Faked is taken out. Hunter's Fury 2 boot from Boise State. Knives are also out. Skeletons picks up 1 with the Hunter's Fury. Boise State up 5-3, and the rest are still caught in the choke for B. Joby gets a double, though, basically resetting the match, and might be enough for South Florida to at least get a plant.
Yeah, Rariana got caught a little bit there in the verticality and was looking at 2 angles at once. Tried to shift the mouse instead of holding S. Just couldn't make it out of there alive. The Broncos are a little bit split here as we haven't seen a full commit to B. They've only ever lingered in the hallway, and now 3 players remaining are going to have to use some util to get their way across. As that arrow to ping goes out, Dizzy is reclaimed. They're ready to pick up some territory here. Behind the wall, Boise State just waiting. The last 3 players still 3v3. He's at the plant noise goes out. They have the chance to go running in. A shock dart to drop. A little bit of tap fire around. Prestige on close quarters around the corner. Get Joby down to low health. But Joby just keeps playing through it all.
All right.
Pop fly bullet. I want to see that one in replay. That was wild.
Oh, they have to shoot at the Thrash, but that's going to give info on where Prestige is hiding. Wall drops, another bait on the defuse. Around the corner, waiting for him to peek around yellow as time is running out for the Broncos. In a 2-1 clutch, can he find it? He gets 1. Can he get 2? Trying to swing out and land the headshot. I don't know if he has enough time to defuse the spike, though. He does. He's got it. Man,
Skeletons.
what a clutch by Skeletons. That's for the highlight reel.
Goodness.
My told me not to brag, but for this I make an exception.
Oh, we get the voice line too. Very nice. Yeah, 2 kills and a defuse. Just look at this wild pop bullet. As he comes flying out on a Joby, it doesn't look like his crosshair's anywhere near it.
It just sometimes, hey, things work out.
Yeah,
sometimes things work out.
I don't know if that's hundreds of hours in the Kovacs.
I know Overwatch has new hitboxes. I didn't know Valorant. I didn't know Valorant had the same hitboxes, but apparently that might be the situation at hand here. So Boise State off to a really good start, 6-3 overall. Best that they can hope for this first half is a 9-3. And when you've been thinking that a lot of the matches that they have won, that they haven't won, that they've lost in the previous few weeks, they've always been trailing around the halfway point. So This is a definite change of pace.
It's true. It's definitely a change of pace, and we'll take that at for what it's worth. It's better to be ahead, and that's really all you can take it to be. Because when we talk about these differences between the offense half and the defense half, and even at the quarter, when you start to finish touching gloves and you kind of start picking up on the play style that you might be getting from this opponent team, things can shift. I mean, these are dynamic players. These are actual people who are going to be changing what they're doing. So it is good to have those extra points, but who knows what adaptations we might get from the Bulls to really shift things going into the next half.
Also, we've been seeing some of the most consistent Hunter's Furies from Skelis coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already top fragging with 13 in his pocket, but every time he pops the Hunter's Fury, he gets about 1 or 2 of them.
And he's earning them as well. So these good Hunter's Furies are snowballing themselves into more Hunter's Furies because you get free kills off of them. But there's nothing about hitbox change that we can say gave Skelis those last 2 kills in that clutch. That was just incredible play. Early stabs in the back to South Florida from Boise State.
Oh, Rariana, look how far he's
hunt.
moving up. He has no fear whatsoever. Is trying to get some sort of pinch maneuver onto Joby, who can't back up. Or else he's going to go into the snake bite. They know where he is. It's basically a 3-on-1. Lands it. Prestige gets another one in mid. And that's a flawless from the Broncos. That timeout did nothing to change the pace of the game.
It looks like that round could be caught all in its own replay. I mean, that was probably a 40-second round at the best. And it feels like I wonder if this time period where all of South Florida is coordinating their watches and getting ready and talking things out and pushing in is something that was caught off guard. And everyone had their gun on the floor and was looking at the schedule and the agenda for this next push when Rariana came flying in and took, I think, 2 or 3 Ks in that last round and was the catalyst for a massive pinch. And those surprise rounds that catch you off guard are just brutal because you have to change the pacing now for the rest of the game.
Economy round on deck for South Florida. Should be another easy Boise State win, but we know how complacency has bitten this team before.
True.
But it looks like they might already be focusing on some sort of pinch play developing if they have someone go down through mid. No, they're all going to bounce up. Maybe it's the lurker off on B once they know Spike is planted on A. There could be a pinch coming out from their Viper, but as of right now, the plant will go down despite some long-range damage coming out in the form of the shock darts. Not much landing onto South Florida. They got a few dinks against Killjoy, but now it's time for the point retake, and Skelis starts things off well.
Yeah, Faked was kind of pushed out of that corner that they were hanging in for a little bit. Skelis is doing well to bonus up to more and more. Look at him go, 3 Ks. Prestige has one, bringing 1 player left on deck, and as they go down to Prestige's 2K, it's going to be an easy defuse by the team. Skelis looking to make that Hunter's Fury come back as soon as possible to pick up a free orb off the defuse. Boise State with 8 points against 3 on South Florida. Again, that's just one half, but it could be a nice rolling finish on this half as Skies is pulling out the big guns, literally speaking, stopping at no outlaw to pull the op. With creds to spare, look at this. Nearly double-digit thousands for all of the blue team, and the Bulls are left to just kick dust.
And you also look at the team composition. You see Faked has fallen out of the top fragging position. And if you're bringing out a Reyna, you did not want that situation whatsoever. Reyna's the most selfish hero. And boy, that's such a hit against Hayden. I'll have to talk about Reyna later. She might be down and out for the count if Skies continues getting picks on the op.
Yeah, that op paying the price of admission in the first few seconds, catching things off guard and being dynamic with the pacing, holding back, and then getting right up in the driver's seat. This back and forth is just snapping South Florida like a paperclip.
So much sight denial being placed out by Boise State, and every single ultimate being popped by South Florida is the last round, so they might as well use them. Will anyone get detained in the Killjoy? No, but Boise State now moves in, having to work through the Viper's pit. They managed to flush out 2. Can they pick up the win in the last round for the first half? There's 2 left hanging back. Rariana down to only 33 health. They move up forward, and Rariana secures it with a quad. Boise State with a huge lead after the first half.
Rariana to snuff 80% of the candles
Switching sides.
burning on South Florida's team now after the switch.
And now I have a little bit of chance to talk about why Reyna because she only has the eye that can really help the team as sort of a blind around a corner. Anything else is solely focused on her. And if you don't have a Reyna who is just absolutely being an elimination machine, then you're running into some problems, because you look at what Boise State has. Basically, almost all agents have something that can help the team. I mean, even the Jet has her smokes that she can place down in a pinch, and there's so much sight denial between the two smokers. I mean, you got Rariana and Master. I mean, you got walls for days with Boise State, and then just the pure info gathering of the Sova. I think it just shows that this Reyna might just be a little bit of a deficit pick.
This is very true. It's important to distinguish between the two kinds of duelists there are. Ones that look to snowball kills into more frags, and ones that are actually there to take space. You know, you talked about that Jet having utility that can actually help the team. That smoke is actually viable because it can use that smoke and the dash. The dash is not just for fighting several players at once. It's also for getting in onto sites fast.
And you can't shoot that smoke. You can shoot the eye, but you can't shoot the Jet smoke.
That's true.
That's going to go down.
It's so much more permanent. The eye really isn't even to help a coordinated swing. It's really to just get the advantage on a player.
Well, the plant's going to go down by Boise State. A good start, and they immediately move into post-plant positioning. Boise State, though, lost one. They lost the Jet. Cascade's going to go out, trying to keep South Florida at bay on the defuse. Boise State will at least get the credits from the plant, the Sova Owl drone. I don't know if he spotted Master, though. Master is still hanging out around the corner. The defuse goes. They're already going to half stick it. Pro stick it. Trying to get the wallbang through. Lands it at the very last moment.
Very, very close. What a slow burn for the round as well. I mean, all 10 players were alive for so much of that. And this defuse, they keep trying for it. They're going to find it. Boise State playing a little bit too far off the point, had too many distractions coming in. But we saw this from the other side now, right? We saw Boise State send in players against those with the advantage to just protect the president, just let this man defuse. Boise State did have the sense to put the spike in a much more vulnerable area, but it wasn't enough. And
well, they also placed the swarm grenade right down next to it, so you can just have the stall from the KJ. But again, like I was saying earlier, in these early rounds, trying to build up a lot of credits, margins matter. And Boise State, even if USF is winning, is taken off 4 from South Florida. So this isn't going to be quite as good of a bonus as they might have hoped for. But it will still be a gun advantage, as Hades shows.
Yeah, and it's so important to have that, because if Boise State had taken point 1 and got a guaranteed point 2, you're looking at double digits, even 11 points before you get the chance to pass 5. So South Florida winning that first one was critical for them, and they may have had that fire to make it happen. What a distant shot from Skelesis. Right up close, so he's going to go down. As Hades with a Guardian.
I think the win condition for Prestige here is, does he manage to just get one pick off? He can maybe force a one-on-one with this Sova. If he can get a pick and maybe just get the spike down for the plant and credits, I'd consider that a job well done. But this KJ is in tow. At least get the ult point.
The KJ's low health, though. If he could take that Sova, ooh. And that could have been it there. And he's going to fake a plant and then go for a big plant. Can Crocs
just
make it in time?
For the credits. That's good.
Crocs doesn't make it in time. He throws down a little bit of util, but they're playing nice and slow. They're really playing with their food here. Crocs finally goes in for the bite, and Prestige is down. You're right, though. They got the plant out. Didn't damage a little bit. 1.5 players down.
It's a tough scenario, but in that, you just got to be happy with the small victories that you can get. So Boise State will be grateful for the credits they'll get for that spike plant as they go into their full purchase. And basically, this is where they took off last time. And we're seeing the second half play out very similar to the first. The first round goes down to just one player left. South Florida wins on the gun advantage in second. Boise State should come swinging back with all these rifles in round 3.
Yeah, I mean, you see it right there. 2 for the defense, and we're expecting 1 for the offense, which would bring them to a doubled stat, 10-5, and a strong push. Just 3 more rounds to get that beautiful white dot on the line.
Boise State certainly wasting no time getting up to the choke on A, but Faked lets the Outlaw ring out. I was wondering how good of a sniper he would fancy himself. It looks like pretty darn good is the answer. Boise State will clear things out on A by placing the Killjoy down. And now they're ready to take space for themselves as it detonates.
A little bit of a clutter going on. Not a lot of players, but there's plenty of utils. Things clear out. They're going to get a chance to move on in, drop their own util, and drop the spike as it goes down. back off a little bit. They want to play this nice and safe. Just take a free point, move themselves up into the double digits, and get some money for this one. South Florida, who had nobody on the point to see the plant, are going to have to move in nice and cautiously. Use everything they can to prevent anyone going down. They want to keep this 4-5 lead in players.
Nice lineup by Prestige throwing the Swarm Grenade just for the pure stall. Joby lands one, but Master are trying to even things up. Boise State's still down one, but they know where the spike is. Someone tries to defuse, and that's a huge pick by Prestige. Line up on the collateral.
Wow.
Spray transfer to take them all out, and Boise State takes round 3.
Boise State, except for I think when Skillsys flinched a little bit too hard at that first fake, nobody else said anything on the first 2 fakes. And when they finally went in for the real defuse, he was able to just spray it all out because they had no options left. I mean, this right here, Skillsys, yeah, gets a little bit greedy and goes down. Then when Crocs goes to the defuse, they don't say anything.
Yeah, I'm all for, protect the president, but that was just 3 players that close there.
What a run.
That is such easy pickings. All right, it's going to be all Vandals as we head into the first even keel rifle round of second half. Boise State a swing out from the door. Nice 2-on-1. They're now up 1. They're going to get an ult orb to boot, pushing Master very close to the reckoning.
This is South Florida's last chance to try to defuse the situation, let a little bit of pressure escape before this thing blows up in their face.
Yep, because they'll go to an economy round, and Boise State, if they win that, will go to match point, and from then on out, it would have to be the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, and playing under match point conditions is just stressful. You have to put everything on the line every time. And I mean, we saw South Florida win a point by dumping all of their util and all of their ults at the same time, or at least making a lot of damage. But you can't do that every round. Hade's going to take one onto Roriana. Prestige in a good position to catch one if he's quick, but Crocs has been on the K-Vox just a little bit longer.
That was actually, I think, a bit sloppy on the crosshair placement. He was way above the Sova's head. Boise State is going to try to bring this back, maybe just settle for a spike plant.
30 seconds
They
left.
can get this KJ, though. They might have a good shot at it. Move around the corner, try to swing out. He's lined up, but he moved right into the already firing gun, so it was an unexpected collateral.
Yeah, talk about pre-firing your angles. Just go ahead and shoot and wait for someone to walk into it. That's different. That is unfortunate right there.
I mean, it's the right idea. They're trying to take different angles, make it a 2-on-1, but they
got a 2-for-1.
Yeah, well, it was a 2-for-1, but in a different way.
Unfortunate for Boise State. This gives South Florida the stepping stone they need to make the leap, as they're now ahead in creds. A little bit of an eco for Boise State. If they can stay strong through this one, it'll be a breeze into map 2. But if South Florida is punishing, it could be tougher. Another attempt at a split push for Boise State.
There you go. That's huge.
A nice jump on over, and they own the territory here.
They'll only use it to claim B, though. That body is so far back that they don't want to risk going, even though it's a free gun, they don't want to risk going that deep into South Florida's territory. Hunter's Fury brought out by South Florida. Can it pick up anybody? It got some good damage against 2 of the Broncos.
Prestige is so ready to punish Crocs here, but he lets him slip through. Crocs decided to take the other way up. No, drops back down, and he might have it. This guy's Rariana with a little bit of a cross angle here, making sure he slips through.
Nice by Prestige.
Nice. Quick little alt fire from Skies, showing that the Classic is always going to be a quality gun.
I mean, this could be a very spectacular Thrifty if they're landed, even though the Dizzy goes out, just fires right through it, and Boise State pulls off the Thrifty, resetting the match and putting them 2 out from the win.
A blind take is always a fun one to see. We'll get to see it in slow-mo now. Or at least a second time. Prestige take to Crocs. One nice in the face, get a little spray on the ground. And this right here is just wild. This is just good tracking. A couple of body shots. And a Thrifty. And a devastating Thrifty, too, because, I mean, South Florida had full arms and sidearms.
Oh, my goodness.
The Dizzy
Fake just gets immediately taken out as he charges in, and Boise State isn't stopping there. Skies picks up another. Now all 3 are caught behind this Viper wall, allowing Boise State to get an easy plant.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, hard to call it an easy plant. They were under a lot of pressure here. We still hear a lot of gunfire, but they're definitely held behind that wall. Sky is sticking nice and close to it after everybody else backs off. It could be a cheeky one. Is he going to get the value off of it? Or will they be deliberate and check all their zone? It doesn't look like they want to check it at all. They might just back off of this one and save their last two players after Skies catches Jobby offhand.
Boy, that's a gutsy save, but I see why they're doing it, but it means they're going to have to win 6 rounds in a row with no mistakes whatsoever.
These guys might be feeling greedy, just kind of checking around.
This is greedy here.
Not quite a hunt, but when you have the time, oh, it's a hunt. Look at everybody go sprawling. Rariana might be the first one to make contact, but if he does it with his knife out, okay, good switch over to the Vandal, hanging behind Yellow. Not going to find it.
Oh, that's close. He
really finds it.
He gets it. He got greedy. And greed is good.
I don't think Nimbus is one of the players. It's probably a coach saying they want to take a little time out on that one, and I hear them there after.
No, it's a good time for Boise State to also, because sometimes when you win, you know, you don't want to get too carried away. We've seen times where Boise State has felt too comfortable, so a timeout can be a good time to reset, even though Boise State's on a win streak for themselves too. Time to take it back and say, okay, let's not blow this. Let's, you know, employ Doc's keys to the game, you know, talk out right over my shoulder, chat your strats every single round.
Yeah. You don't want to overheat out there on the snow. But we'll take a little recap on some of our favorite plays as they discuss things out in South Florida, look for a way to recoup their losses here and maybe come back strong with what they've got to close up map 1. And maybe even just get some info on map 2. You want to keep your eyes open the entire first round to make sure that you have an easier fight in the second one. And maybe a little change of pace would be good for South Florida.
Boise State to put themselves at a match point in terms of the overall rounds.
There's been some fun plays so far. But as we're closing in, South Florida would need to find 6 points consecutive to even bring this to an overtime.
That's not a good start for them. Skies
does not want to see that happen. Starts paring the team down quickly with these paring knives. Ooh, a little bit. Just a couple of pixels is all it takes. These guys would love to make you into the man with an arrow to the knee.
Or the knife to the face in this scenario.
Ideally.
Croc's still hanging up there, but it looks like they'll just be happy with picking up the ult orb for the KJ. Rariana lands a headshot onto Hades. And this could another showdown in mid. Crocs isn't even looking, and it's a one-tap, one kill. Skies is still on the hunt for more. We got another showdown happening back near Snowman.
Rariana just playing with his food here. Skies
nice
pinch from above. Whoa. Oh no.
In that case, yeah. As far as knives go, that was fairly safe, so I'll let them slide with it.
Right, and it's we didn't see it all day, right? You talked about complacency, but when you're 3-on-1 and a man is pinched and he has a he had a marshal in that corner, so that's just tough. So we're ready to hop right on into the next map. Do you think that you could pinpoint any things in particular you'd want to see change for the next map to give these Bulls an extra push?
Well, let's see what the map is first, because that's going to dictate what a lot of the agent picks are. I did harp on that Reyna pick a lot, so I'm going to have to see, you know, if this next stage is something where maybe they can make something like that work, or if it's something that's going to demand an agent, you know, since Viper is probably one of the most in-demand agents due to that wall, whether it might be something that could demand that, like a Breeze or something like that.
Yeah, and the right team is a chef that can cook with any ingredients, but why sabotage yourself with a bad team comp before you turn the burners on? So it's important to really get down to the cookbook and really study your textbooks and know what team comps should be going into what maps, just to give yourself that extra leg up.
I do see on the monitor behind me, I do see a little peek into what I assume is the next map. It is going to be Bind with South Florida attacking first. And so this is going to allow a little bit of a change. We might see, you know, I'd say a good swap would be from the Reyna over to the Ray. Still a very strong offensive duelist, but has a lot of places where that paint shells can work out great in bind. He also might have the ability to maybe see a Cypher be brought out. Okay, the bind is his home. His main domain, if they want to get really cheeky, they might even bring something out like a Yoru. Oh, Skies, I think he's teasing us. Boise State has this habit where they're hovering over the ISO, trying to get us all excited, and then swaps off at the last moment. So
it feels like sometimes they're asking for permission.
Yeah,
when they
see,
hover
the ISO and the Yoru, come on, this is such an obvious bait. Yep. You see, you get to know the players after a little while.
You do. I mean, and I don't want to call them predictable, but we saw it coming. Skelsis, though, still playing the get-go, and I mean, that's fresh enough for me. I'll take it. You know, for how long this map has been around, just like the geological time scale, there's bind, and then the dinosaurs, more bind, and then get-go's still pretty fresh to the scene.
And he also got Cypher for Hades, and that's going to make it, you know, I have to wonder how much Boise State can run the score up, because he's choosing the Cypher, which normally has his home more on defense, a little bit harder to use on offense. So I'm wondering how far Boise State can run up that score line in the first half. If University of South Florida is going into the half basically tied up, ooh, that's going to be tough to face that Cypher on defense. Head back on down into bind.
Which, unlike Icebox, I mean, we didn't talk a lot about this, actually, but Icebox has had some physical changes to it that on its way back into the map pool.
Well, Bind has also had a good amount of changes throughout its history as well. Like moving those teleporters around every now and then. They changed up mid last year, I believe. Gave a few more peeking spots to make it a little easier to attack. It was either last year or the year before that. It's hard to believe that Valorant, you know, just seemed like it was a new game a short time ago, but now we're starting to get nostalgic for old parts of it.
It's true.
Not running gun, though. That can... It takes a special kind of person to be nostalgic for that.
It's, clearly the Overwatch devs were nostalgic for it. Anyways, I'm nostalgic for Split.
Oh, Skelesis! He might
Wow.
be creating a whole nostalgic moment for himself.
What is he
Picking
doing?
up a triple, moving around the corner, picks up the quad, and that's going to be as good as he can settle for.
Was that intentional? Did Rariana over-rotate there, or like over-peak, just to be a cursor distraction?
I think it might have been because they might have wanted to give Skelesis the ace.
Oh. Okay.
But right now,
I hear the ace
nice.
protect. That's a valid attempt. And Crocs with low health trying to come up on Prestige, who's also low health. It could be a short battle, but it's not. It's quite a bit of eye contact. Goes around for the refuel, and it comes in.
Nice one-for-one trade. Boise State wins the first pistol round. Very good opening. Going to check and see if there's any handguns he picks up.
Yeah, that's as skinny as you can take it, though. Aside from when you plant, everybody gets demolished, and the spike still goes off. Having one person up, I mean, it's almost as far as you can get from a flawless, so. This should give them a nice head start into the next round. Yes, look at these fun guns. Look at all these fun angles you might be taking instead of just holding Spectre at medium. I like seeing the dynamics. I like seeing this angle. We saw a lot of this angle last turn, maybe a little bit too much last week. Skies would love to see this streamline on his minimap of all the South Florida,
oh man, this
all
could be
the
huge.
Tampa players coming rolling around this corner.
Like
might
this.
be right here. Bam.
Boom!
2, 3.
I told you were gonna like
Ace
this.
Ace
Ace is it with the judge. What a play!
Skies.
That's the #1 play. I'm calling it right now.
Sky's unreal. He's been holding that angle for weeks now, waiting for an entire team to streamline their way around on an econ. This is beautiful. How much does he even get hit here? From a full health and full shield. And he doubles on one of them. It was not 5 shots to take 5 people. Let's see if he even refills.
And even between the two, there are very few situations in Valorant where you can aim between 2 people and hit them both. But that was it. And I also like, you know, considering how much, as a caster, we caster curse things.
Yes.
For me to call it out and say, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
And it actually works. I'm thrilled.
And right around Skelesis pierces a man's ear, but it's not enough. He was trying to hit the rest of the brain, and it goes down embarrassingly, giving a nice run-up, but it's not going to be enough. A quick flash. Prestige knows that that Sky is still viable. Can't hold it quite together. Davy Gravy coming around to pick up that. Extra damage already been done. Jobby finds another. A little bit of a blast packing right into the middle of things. Not looking great. Maybe the Broncos are getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. This is their scheduled lose round, though, so we can't be too mean on them, but I'm seeing some sloppy plays here. Boise State, Rariana holding back against the Molly in the smoke, waiting for something to drop. Give him a chance to come out to something new. That's going to be a smoky peek through right there. Oh, shoulder peeks it, and Joby traces back. Rariana goes down, and very little damage done at all. Boise State only drops one player to move up to the next round.
Standard opening 2-1, but it's always nice to see Boise State on the better end of it. And they've also, because they had such good first 2 rounds, they'll have even guns with South Florida, but they'll also have a showstopper that South Florida doesn't have, and that could prove to be the key decider. I mean, hey, you know, he already got one ace with the judge.
Yeah.
Let's see him get one with the showstopper.
Boise State, though, and we talked about complacency earlier, after you have someone sitting in U-Haul one clip, an entire team, you start to relax a little bit. And they only took one player down to the grave with them in that last round. South Florida is still staying strong. They're still doing things the way that they have planned to ahead of time. Here's something we don't see South Florida hold for very long is a big split push somewhere. We'll see if they decide that it is in the cards for them. Skelos is doing well, anchoring down on that angle.
That
Nasty
is
pixel
one
angle to
you
find
know the face is pressed right up against the monitor, taking in all of that lovely blue light, mild radiation, but it's worth it to get the pick.
He is not falling asleep anytime soon. At least not for 2 hours, my pediatrician says. Crocs at a bad angle.
Oh, what a headshot by Skies. I called it here.
Moonwalks into that one.
Nice.
Excellent play, using up the entire kit. Bringing in that beta era energy where
30 seconds left.
a player could just drop their entire kit and drag out an ace.
That's one of my that's such a great memory. I remember seeing the meme where the developer said, "We don't want an ultimate to decide a whole round if you pop it," and then here comes the party.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Those were good times, and good times keep it rolling with Boise State pushing South Florida all the way back to Cave. They're not even going to get the plant, which is going to be less credits for them. Boise State getting a bit greedy on the hunt.
Oh,
and Gravy punishes them for it. And it's not going to be the best. That's a 1-2 trade.
That's a little
Probably
messy.
not worth it.
A little messy, but if they go run into the cave, anyone saving in the cave is asking to be pinched, you know?
Skies is just popping off. He's having the time of his life.
I mean, yeah, and you can tell that because Skies loves that U-Haul corner, went crazy with it, is punishing anyone who shows up. And instead of just hitting the reload, maybe hitting in the corner or tracing the angle back out, he decides to blast pack back. Just feeling fantastic. Wow, this is the earliest push I've ever seen from South Florida. B Long already under some pressure from Prestige. Looks like they're not going to hold with it and stay all the way up. They send one man through the cave to go check things out. But he's going to come upon quite a bit of a ghost down as Crocs has already taken two. Thin on the defense. Forces a weight shift coming from Boise State. South Florida would love to beat them to it and go charging into A site. More smokes coming down from Master to slow him down. Skelesis putting in the effort.
From Skelesis. He's going to get the land on the Cypher. That's an easy pickup.
Nice.
And might have another one. No, can't land it. Crocs is on a bit of a tear with a triple.
Really is.
Want to be watching him for a possible ace.
Yeah, that was a two-piece and then a return earlier.
Spike planted.
And as we get onto the site, the spike is ticking. Davey. Oh, almost had it on the timing, but now it's going to be a fair fight between him and Master, if you can call it that. If Crocs stays out of the business. Oh! Sure enough, Crocs is going to come and take that. Prestige. Down
Solo
1 and
ult.
1. Can he find it?
Oh.
No. Now, I've seen the solo ult played from that angle, and maybe even from that man. I know Prestige is kind of the man to be put on.
He knew exactly where he was. Well, no, not exactly. I think what happened is it gave him the general direction. He was either going to be on the low ground near to the box or back near actual A short. And Prestige made the coin flip, decided I think he's A short, and decided wrong.
But this right here, this exact same angle, we've seen from Prestige last week. It worked. We call it brilliant. It didn't work this time, and it was you know, you win some, you lose some.
Skelesis, for a save round, that Vandal is really sticking out like a sore thumb. I hope he can do some good things with it.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Okay, he does get one, but it's only a 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, and faked. Working together in tandem with Hades is doing so much damage here. South Florida lost one player, and with it one ult, but are still holding 3 more. Popping one of those, you know, and I won't say which one, but could be devastating for Boise State if Boise State plays together. So they're going to be working on a nice pinch angle here. One holding tight, just waiting his turn, trying to catch someone off guard on the check here. No, wow, does find it. Of course, he's going to be hunted.
So many times if you miss the first shot on that Sheriff, you're punished severely. Skies with another one off of the Phantom. This is pretty good for an economy round.
Ooh, can he use that blast pack in the right place at the right time? Oh, traces his outline. He's so close to Hades. Maybe took one to the foot, but that's about it. And now they have a big cross angle across this. And it's a slow burn on the spike. Will Skies be able to play it nice and slow, isolate these one-on-ones, take 2 coin flips and find it? Ooh, a little bit of a shoulder peek there. Skies on the hunt for this one. Will not let Crocs run away for free. And look at those pop bullets. He's just too far. He scared him far enough off of the point now. He might be able to get a tap. Oh.
Nice
and
job
they didn't
by
even
Hades.
need the double peek. It would have been tough too, because even if Hades went down, Crocs was right behind him. 3 and 3. We've seen this scoreline before. Who is going to pull it all together? As we cross the quarter here, go ahead and check out a couple.
I mean, they were off to such a great start. You had the judge ace there and everything, and then everything's come to a screeching halt. We set the round as a whole, and we're back to an even keel rifle round.
Yeah, I mean, things go great until they don't. And this is even down to the shield numbers, and don't think that they're flush now, because one player on either team is holding a light shield, though South Florida not even on the ultimates there.
Bit of a grouping up near B lawn. They could decide to go through Hookah instead. They do have their Sky out there, just trying to feel that out.
Yeah, and we could see Seekers even being popped. And usually, I'm not pro popping early Seekers for free information just to make sure no one's flanking you, because people aren't usually. A Flash isn't going to give any info. Rariana, though, makes eye contact with a couple people, decides to back out. It's not his party. Going to call in for some backup, and we see that weight shift. A couple early rotations off of A, and wow, there's the noise. That's the ultimate that South Florida was hoping to get some money off of, and that's Seekers. Those Seekers were popped nice and early, as I anticipated. Unfortunately, they're not going to get a lot of info just because everyone's kind of hanging out in the same area. Joby getting a good plant in, though it's under pressure. A little bit through the wall. Skies just being aggressive in nature. The Trailblazer doesn't find very much other than the bullets from Crocs to find 2 more. David Gravy gets one, and Crocs closes it up. That's a tough round.
It's tough, but also when you consider they threw 3
ults
ultimates added, yeah.
3 ults for a round.
I mean, that's pretty good. You know, if you're wanting to bleed ultimates off from them, trading 3 ults for a 1-round win.
It's true. And you need to be bleeding ults when Prestige burned an ult to not get around. So it's looking tough. The ult economy here it's a little bit thin, but that speaks to the gunplay, right? When your aim is just so good that ults are less valuable, means we're playing high caliber.
Well, Skies is going with the judge again, Old Faithful.
Oh, wow.
But there's an old proverb that says, even brute beasts and wandering animals do not wander into the same trap twice.
We'll see if these bulls are wandering animals themselves. It's definitely not going to be a streamlined down into U-Haul. They know that trap is set.
Bit of a split push. That might try to see if they can get a narrow sideline off of Baths. Has an opportunity to engage. Sky's just probably not going to find anyone here, but there might be a push through A short, so he might have to swing out a little bit longer, but still might have a chance at it. And the spike holder is there, so if he lands it, he can just keep eye on that one shot, and that is what he was looking for.
Yeah, he maybe could have bonused the second one, but he was already feeling like he was acting greedy. He knew he was kind of coloring outside the lines here and playing a little bit forward, so he's going to back up, back into his den, and now they're just not allowed back there. They
Especially,
know it.
Remember, none of them had rifles, so you don't want to, especially on this sort of round, don't want to overextend yourself.
That's true.
And nice teleportation in. Skies is going to come in, but that's a long range fight. He doesn't want to get in with the other race.
Prestige lands 2 with the Sheriff, and now South Florida's down to just 1. No rifles, no problem for the Broncos. They're looking for the final player, and they get it for Flawless, tying it up 4-piece.
Prestige with those double forehead kisses is unreal. Absolutely shuts down this round. And a bonus. That's just a good and solid bonus. They picked up the rifles and moved them into the next round. Free money is what Doc calls that.
I like free money.
Yeah, everybody loves free money. The Broncos are very happy with their brand new free money.
We didn't know what to do with the money. We tried burning it, shredding it, and burying it. But in the end, we decided to just give it all away. I'm getting back in line. Nice. Viper's pitch is going to completely seal off A short. And yeah, that's going to make things a little bit puzzling for South Florida. They either got to push through Baths or brave it through short, or just rotate over toward B and go through either Lon or Hookah.
Whatever they do, they're not going to do it until the clock hits 1 minute. One thing I know about South Florida, they'll be here in a minute.
They definitely might as well take the time to get the info, but don't want to put yourself in too bad of a situation where you're forced to push. And we're seeing Sky's not in his usual spot. Instead, that's been replaced with the Viper.
Yeah, but they've learned their lesson. They're not going to push that a second time. This Viper's pit, I was going to say, is just too strong, and they've been hurt too many times. It doesn't feel right. They're going to make the rotation around, and Gecko is already getting antsy. We already see Sky getting antsy. I'm anticipating a serious Hookah showdown here. Sure enough, Crocs finds one. Oh, Skelesis in a dangerous position as the box is just getting riddled. People jumping through, trying to catch the tail end of the battle in Hookah are not quite going to find it. They've already owned, or at least laid claim to the entire B site.
Well, now it's time for South Florida's turn at a Viper's pit. Master has a good lineup on Jobby, but he doesn't know that due to all the site denial. Faked, and Jobby each pick up one. Despite a very spectacular, flawless last round, Boise State looking like they're going to lose round 9. And that is going to be it. A team ace to boot for South Florida. But, it's like we said, it was completely free round for Boise State, so they'll sure as heck have credits to buy up this run.
That is true, but 4 and 5... This is not the pacing that we saw last round. Boise State is either doing something wrong or South Florida is doing something right.
Look at this push up here in A short. Boise State is getting right up in their faces. This is either going to be a great play or a bad failure. Showstopper actually misses a Cypher but manages to secure it. However, it's one elimination they had to spend a lot for. They lose 3 of their team members. And yeah, I said it was either going to be spectacular or a miserable failure. Looks like it's leaning toward the latter.
Yeah, that is a nice, successful push from South Florida. And the last 2 Boise State players are being very cautious here. It's not often that we see them walk like this. Yeah, that's what we're used to.
Spike planted.
As that plant comes down, they expect South Florida to be playing a little bit off the point here. They got to be careful about all these angles, though. Looks like the call's been made. They're just going to save here. They got close. They considered hunting out for a little bit more, but they'll just play from a distance.
Only in
Just give up
Valorant.
this round.
Only in Valorant can you get the notification that a literal bomb has been planted and continue walking like you're browsing at a clothing store. But that is the correct course of action here. I'm not knocking the Broncos strategically for it. I'm just saying. You're either moving into defuse it or running like heck away. But in Valorant, that basic flight or flight instinct doesn't apply.
As soon as you're out of earshot, you're probably fine.
And so we'll just roll into the next round. Boise State not getting too careless with it. They want to make sure that they can have a full purchase for the next round, 4-6. And I was saying as this round started, you know, that Cypher's going to really come alive with his utility in defense. And so for South Florida, already have 6 points on the board attacking. Uphill battle for the Broncos coming up.
Not a whole lot to say about that round, I don't think. We're going to move right up into the next one.
With Bucky. I like it.
It could make Master a lot of money if he plays well here, but B site is the site to be. South Florida making their way downtown, leaving one person on A. They have 17 seconds left till that 1 minute mark where they'll inevitably move on into the site.
Good concerted push through Hookah. Boise State doesn't have any information on it, but they do have the majority of their players stationed near B. South Florida counting down for when they want to push through as a whole. Smokes go down. Wolf goes out. And here they go. Going to throw out a nade as well to push Boise State back behind the smoke. Dizzy used by Boise State.
Wow.
And they just take them all out in one foul swoop. It's just the Cypher left.
They dumped a lot of damaging utility onto an empty site and then went flying into the traps. They're kind of seen in this fishbowl as people were already holding mid, holding U-Haul. Wow, and Master taking it through the smoke as they just riddle the area. Are going to find this man on a flawless almost. I do want to note, you know, Prestige was incredibly low and did have to get the heal onto some fellow players to bring things back up to where they were. Yeah, Rariani, you can see he's going very low there.
Last round before the swap and 2 ultimates to use from the Broncos that they better use now or everything is going to reset. And also looking at South Florida, the only one who could possibly get an ultimate would be Davey Gravy. So hey, if he gets a pick or two, some Seekers could be pretty clutch for this last round.
They may. You know what also could be a clutch is that op. Here in 31 seconds. We might just see it ring through the ears of Boise State if there's good aim.
We also have a lurker that's Cypher over near Fountain. Boise State is kind of jiggle peeking it ever so lightly, so they might get, if that Cypher gets a little too careless, might be the first pick of the game. Faked also with the op looking for his first pick.
South Florida patiently waiting for their turn as the clock crosses 1 minute. Faked. Makes eye contact onto the site.
That's a great smoke. It's going to force that opper out into the open. Gets the bird, should get some information if he landed the blind. That's a great wallbang by South Florida. Moving on in, gets concussed onto Skies, has to use the satchel to get on out of there. Op shots are raining out as South Florida goes charging in toward A, but Boise State will knock him back with the orbital strike and the Seekers, both spent. But Fate is not phased whatsoever. He's comfortable in baths and picks up his third with another shot for his second.
Oh. And Prestige does not watch the angles, and it has taken a wicked turn for Boise State this round. It is smelling a little bit like a flawless 7th point for South Florida. Oh, Rariana would love to take that point, though. They're just playing with him.
Oh,
he's gotten a little bit of contact. They come flying in. He's going to get one, and that's all right. It's enough to break the flawless. Enough to say, hey, I got my one. What'd you guys do?
Switching sides.
But Boise State now, as we get up to point 12, is going to have to prove that they can play better on the attacking half than South Florida did to bring home the gold in 2 maps.
It's not going to be an easy comeback, but we'll see what the Broncos can do. And two ghosts being brought out. Boise State fancying the classics a lot more. Wanting to go just for all those abilities. Bit of silence before a very decisive half to decide it all. Look at these guys, they're fresh off the brimstone, moving through hookah, not wasting any time. Doc is going to get shot. I don't think he got the concuss, but they swing up and around, pick up the Viper nice and easy. This should be a good plan. The Cypher is hanging out around an angle. Boise State needs to make sure they check it.
And Spike planted 21 seconds earlier than we've seen South Florida ever enter the site on the attacking side, basically. Moving with much, much faster pacing. Boise State dropping all of the utility just left and right. And the more team fighting you do back in the hallway, the better, because that's not where the spike is. So even if they take you, they still have to run up and start charging it. Skies coming in to find person number 3 as the wingman goes out, being even more distraction.
1-for-1 trade ends it for the Broncos. With the gun advantage, they should be able to bring this to an even 7-7.
Yeah, hopefully so. Boise State can keep up that pacing. They should have a nice roll out to the finish here.
Ooh, Spectres. Wow. Well, it's the inverse of what you were saying last time.
It is the exact
State, you're like,
opposite.
oh boy, you know, all these fun guns, and now Boise State is complacency. But hey, look at how fast they're charging in. That's the one thing that hasn't changed. And they pick off Hayden, too. I was talking about all that defensive Cypher util, but if you're taking him out as the first pick, you don't have to worry about that at all. And they've already called out the rotation coming through South Florida. Prestige lands one, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, which if you're going up against a bunch of classics and with a Spectre, then that's not the best outcome.
That is very true. Boise State holding a generous backup site. Ooh, until Skies goes flying up, takes quite a bit of damage for it. Yep, goes down.
One enemy remaining.
Behind him, Master trying to do some damage. Here's a man walking around. Oh. And it's just not even, it wasn't even enough time.
It's a win, but I don't like seeing you losing 3 whole people in your second round if you have that much of an advantage.
They'll have to take a very, very delicate loss here and do a lot of damage onto South Florida.
It makes a gun differential situation even worse. 2 of them are going to purchase up for sheriffs.
Look at those creds. South Florida has 100 total creds between everybody.
Croc's also standing right up towards Skelesis in the fight for the top fragger overall. Variana starts with Snakebite. And a nice lineup as well. Landing it just right on that door. Trade 1-for-1. Good start for the Broncos. And again, traded again, 2-2.
Skelesis is getting in a quick plant.
Yeah, you knock 2 off of him, get the spike down. I'm happy.
Yeah, very true, but that's assuming that South Florida plays everything flawlessly from here on out, and that's not, we can't take that for granted. Boise State still has a little bit of util, a little bit of options.
There goes Thrash. It's going to land the concuss right onto Jobby, and the molly goes onto him as well. He can't get out of there. He's going to go down to half health before he can move again. Oh, what a great 2 for Boise State. Wins the 3rd round.
Yeah, taking round 3 is mean. It is just rude. It's going to be a lot of money for them. South Florida were in shambles to begin with. This could be a just classics round for them.
Yeah, they had a bad... Again, they were expecting to win this one with all the rifles, but few of them are going for sheriffs. But as you said, huge economy round.
Tough spending habits.
So Boise State has now won all 3 of the first 3 rounds.
True.
In the second half. It's a great start for them.
I mean, sometimes we'll see a second round reach, but taking that third round is that's a strong place. They've got money to spare now.
Which
We
is
see Skies. Whoa, all the speed going in right behind the flash. That is a well-coordinated play, only to get upset by the snake bite. Upsetting, to be sure. Oh, and then he misses the boom bot. Oh, it's going so well, but Skies a little bit flustered now, stuck behind the wall.
Also look at
Rariana,
Rariana, this lurk here going 1-on-2, but manages to pick up one. Can he get the second?
Wow.
That is some value. I'll take any day of the week.
Rariana just hunting out in the middle of the woods, takes home the bacon and feeds the family. Now, they have rotation options. We see people making their way up to A. Prestige doing well to check the corner is going to be all the info they need to get an easy trade from Skelesis and company, as Master, I think, contributed no damage there. Awkward. Onto Nox.
Regroup for a push through A short. Only one holding down A. Cypher rotating over to provide some backup. Wingman will be given the duty to plant. We get the camera on him to see him in all of his glory.
Yeah,
nice
look at him
job,
go.
Wingman.
What a guy. What a guy.
South Florida, can they take it back?
Yeah, they're going to have to take it back with 2 players. They're going to wait until those 2 players are playing with each other by the side. Skies on a mean angle here. Just might catch him on the... Oh! Dad doesn't see it at all. Unfortunate.
What an unfortunate turn of events, and going to use the neural theft as well. Let them know exactly where Rariana is.
That's probably the second time this season I've seen the neural theft be used.
Oh.
Ooh, barely made it out of there alive. Hades has a false sense of security, and after a little bit of junk peek, the ball.
I mean, this
man.
is great by Rariana just in terms of pure stall. He's won it on time alone.
That's so rude, too, because when he goes out to peek, he doesn't even flick. He just takes the fall, loses his arm, and wins on time. That's a brutal way to go, because Hades ran all the way down the hallway, didn't see anyone, comes back and sees some shoulder peeking.
I mean, it's a good way. It's a good... Rariana did not get phased by that neural theft at all. Realized, okay, you know, I'm just gonna stall him out on time, and just played that Cypher like a $3 violin, completely clutching the round, even though he went down in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, he totally took it, and that's what it's down to. It's down to the win con, and it's important not to play greedy and not to get in there. And we don't see very much of that anymore. I mean, this is high-level play where people understand that, yeah, an ult is not just worth an ult. If you can use it for a round, then it's worth it. And if you can let yourself go down just because you're pestering the other guy, then it's worth it. So, and fun to see that that Cypher ult come out. It's not very often that we get to see that one run.
And when you really think about it also, since they're defending the spike, they kind of get a faux neural theft because you know where the other player's going to be. They need to defuse the spike to win it or take you out. So you know the general region. So even then, both players kind of knew where the other would be.
That's true. It was a little bit of a fair fight, except one of them was under the clock, and the other one got to do whatever they want. And so they did, and they took it out with no problems. That was a good round, but it's still a tight game. It's still a little bit close. Despite Boise State taking 3 rounds in a row, they were down enough that only means 2 points ahead.
There hasn't been a day so far this week that Boise State has won the first game of the day, and this could be the exception to that. Place them in a great state of mind for the Mountain West match against UNLV, which is on deck. And we'll be sure to jump into that one as soon as we can. Davy Gravy picks off Skies. Another one from Faked. Good start for South Florida.
We see some people hanging out in hookah here as they've made their way up the B short. And they might seesaw back to B long. Look at all the defense on A site. They're definitely not going to want to make that rotation whether they know it or not. Boise State still playing nice and deliberately. So we see the hush halt come out from Skelesis. All the angles are being checked. Ooh, Prestige. Initial contact. Is not going to get a lot of money off of it. And we do see a man go down. Still playing nice and quiet. I mean, this is the slowest we've seen Boise State play.
They're not even picking up the ult orb. They're playing that quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, now the Brim goes for it. He gets it to be able to bring the orbital strike online.
Yeah, 3 on 5. They just want to do some damage here. They're going to throw A little bit of util out, trying to make a coordinated push here, but Crocs takes Skelesis as he goes in alone, and Master walks in alone as well and goes down. That wall is just punishing. Prestige can't quite place, just can't find a connection. And David Gravy from the side is going to bring it up to a nice flawless .8 for Sud Florida.
4 rounds won, 1 round lost. Boise State manages to edge out a lead in the second half, and they've gotten so many wins in a row that this next round will be probably a no-problem purchase for them on all the rifles. Actually, no, I spoke too soon. I definitely spoke too soon. Skies on his trusty judge. Yeah.
Yeah, Sky's on the trusty judge and in a trusty
He can't just hang out, though.
No, he can't hang
wait
out.
for them to he doesn't have that luxury now.
But might go flying into U-Haul and see who's there. Oh no, he's going to play big guns and get shot out of the sky. Did not get to unload. Shot 1 on the judge. It is sitting there peacefully on the floor, so they might see someone try to recoup it as they play close quarters right around this spike. As that orbital strike comes out, they pin a man behind the box. As he swings around Shiny, he's going to find him no problem. 2 players, the last 2 skipping together along the catwalk long up to heaven. Going to get a good view out onto the spike in situation here. Davey looking to drop a little bit of a flash. Make sure not to T-flash. He does get the info of 1 in Bath. That pushes Master out to recover some ground. Unfortunately, he's going to go down. Aureliana leaves.
Now South Florida press for time. They can't defuse it.
Yeah.
Goes in and finds it. Oh, they got to hope the round ends before the spike goes off, trying to get out of there with the teleporter. Rariana gets out of there in time.
I cannot believe that was the line between them, was that Prestige goes down and Rariana makes it.
Wow.
Unreal. He just needed to pull out his knife just a little bit earlier.
You know, for this match as a whole, it was an icebox, but especially here on Bind, Boise State has been having so many thrifty rounds that they're pulling them out so well. I got to give major props to them for that.
So close. So close. Lots and lots of guns as we close in on double digits. Boise State with the 10 points already. Are just looking for 2 more between them and that sweet match point.
Brings out the Thrash, but the Thrash runs right into the tripwire. So they're going to be knowing where that fish is. And we're running into, no, he ran into both!
Yep.
Oh, you hate to see it. Luckily, Skies is just having the time of his life, so it's not going to matter too much. Picks up a triple, might have a quad as Crocs rotates on over to Heaven, gets the view on him through the Jiggle Peak, lands it again. Can Skies pick up 2 aces in 1 game?
They're going to have to give it to him first.
Oh, yeah,
he's sending
Thrash the Thrash as well.
Disrespect.
Oh,
he deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah.
That's okay. It would have been great, but it's all right.
He just assumed that the Thrash landed, and this is going to be the easiest knife so I can get the 2nd ace in a round. Nah.
Upsetting. He was so close. A little too close for comfort, maybe. Yeah, Thrasher running through that tripwire is an interesting one because I believe that is a recent buff of the Cypher, isn't it? That tripwire can be recouped. So just sending Thrasher through it and just sending, various things, whether that's an animal or just a fake.
I can't believe that Thrash kept on swimming, by the way, so he probably didn't even see him. He just went through the smoke at just the right moment.
Do you think that was a problem with the smoke? That's
yeah,
wild.
they just passed each other at the
like
exact
ships
millisecond.
in the night. That is just embarrassing.
Oh, Skelesis with a great head tap to start things out. They're also going to get more information off of the Seekers. Rariana keeps the train going with a double. South Florida down, and oh man, not even looking. Everything's falling apart, and the Broncos have put themselves up to match point.
Match point.
It's just the high pace. South Florida sometimes can't keep up. South Florida has a very nice approach to it sometimes. When they can kind of play with the ball in their court, they do well to coordinate. But when Boise State just keeps dumping things on their plate, South Florida can't eat fast enough. Look at this, just trying to run out doesn't work, and then someone goes running in, just uninformed, with a sidearm in the smoke. It feels fumbling. And when South Florida's on the attack, they have that power, and you can see that they're usually ahead. But when they don't get to set the pace, when things like this are happening, when Boise State just goes flying in, dumping Utah left and right, playing in the chaos, in South Florida, their options are low.
But Hades doesn't seem to care. He's still getting the trip. We've got to have
again and
conversation
again.
now, please.
They definitely had the orbital strike waiting on that tripwire, because that was an odd tripwire placement that definitely got him. Hades is going to get one and get traded down. Prestige to find one. Joby doing well. This could be the last round. Boise State, one more player, just gets swamped.
I'm just kind of stunned that we've seen 3 tripwires run into. It's
Yeah.
not often. Sometimes we just see one for the whole game, you know, and that's an oopsie. But man, I haven't seen this many tripwires run into.
I mean, it comes with the pacing. You know, you don't see the tripwire until you're close to it, and if you're moving too fast, there's nothing you just can't press S quick enough.
As they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. You fool me, can't get fooled again.
It's feeling tough for South Florida, but they're willing to push all the way through this. The creds are low.
Dim beacon here.
But it's enough. If they can take this one, they might find a chance to play on map 3. But Boise State is looking to shut things down here now. They're dialing it back a little bit, playing a little bit slower here, waiting until 1 minute 1.
You only have 1 ultimate to work with. South Florida hanging on to 2, but one of them is that Neural Theft, which he's got to get a pick first to use it. And since he's over near B, that's probably not going to be an option. That's a great dog. They just commit completely on that corner, pick up 2 more afterwards, and this is looking good for the Broncos to end it right here, right now.
That it is, in South Florida was timing everything right. They put the mollies right in after the smokes. They were holding odd corners. They were doing well, but it just wasn't enough to slow down the Broncos, and the Broncos kept rushing in. They own all the territory now, and they still have 1 man left in the pocket just to play off point in case things go south.
Kind of a 2-on-1 close quarters in the smoke. 1 more elimination to win it all.
Yeah,
They landed
there
with
it
the
is.
classic.
Attackers win.
Nice.
That'll do it.
At least they didn't try to get it with the knife, but that is the game for the night.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit hairy there near the turn of the half, but Boise State rallied back with a great win streak, 4 rounds to start off the half. And now, no rest for the weary, because we've got a Mountain West UNLV game to get to.
That is very true. They would love to keep this energy, though, take a quick break and go riding right on into the next one. Hopefully that fire is exactly what they need.
Yep, thanks for mentioning it, because, yeah, we were going to take a quick break and then be back with the UNLV Mountain West match, so don't go away. We'll see how the premier match of the night turns out.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Once there was a traveler whose feet never left the ground. With only his mind as his map and his senses his compass, he raced into the great unknown, armed only with the speed of legend. His trails he blazed, his rivals he played. Every sprint a blur, every turn trusting his allies. In silence he raged and waged with quickening, sickening speed. His name a chant filling arenas. Because some heroes leave footprints, others an afterburn. Without conflict, there is no resolution. Without verses, there is no victory.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Up that ace. Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. You've been joining us for our Valorant night. We started out with a NACE Valorant match against University of South Florida, which the Broncos pulled out a win. And then we were scheduled to go into a match against UNLV in the Mountain West, but that game has actually been called on a forfeit, so the Broncos will put that in their win column and give us some time to get out a little bit early tonight. But before we do, we got someone we want to talk to. The man of the hour, the Judge King, Skies himself is here with us. Nice to have you here, Skies.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I mean, that's got to be my first question. You've been hanging out in that position with the judge for weeks on bind looking for an opportunity like the one we just saw tonight.
Yeah, you know, when teams are on eco like that, they tend to group up, and I was just waiting for them to come in. They happened to come to my place, so.
And you almost had two aces as well toward the very end there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a miscommunication with the Thrash.
Yeah, Griffin said he got him, so I went in to knife him, but Griffin didn't get him, so.
Yeah, sometimes. But, hey, a win is a win, you know. You can't be looking too far in. And it's kind of a well-needed win because when we think about it, you know, last week you had a rough loss against Michigan State.
Yeah.
Had to kind of reset mentals going into this week, pick up two, I would say, needed wins because the Broncos have been having a tough week overall. So what did you do over the weekend and then this week to reset your mentals and come into this ready to win?
You know, we kind of took a couple of days to settle in and get back to where we were before. We made some mistakes over the weekend, but we knew if we locked in today, it would be easy, so that's what we did.
And then we can take a look back at all of these great plays that you had. And I had to know that I noted during the actual games that on Icebox and then certainly later on Bind, there was a lot of thrifties you all picked up.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have pretty good aim on the team, so when we have sheriffs, it's always winnable for us.
And then just trying to get a little bit picky, and then this is what we've been talking about right here.
Yeah.
I knew they were grouped up. I called it out. I said, you're going to like this, but I couldn't have dreamed that it would turn out this well.
Yeah, they kind of just all ran into me, and the judge is OP, so.
There you go. That's just every player's dream right there, and then to end it with the ace.
Yeah.
Very nice. So what are you looking forward to going forward in some matches coming up next week? Who are some opponents you're going up against, and what are you doing to prepare?
Well, Mountain West is coming up, and I know that we play Hawaii eventually, and they've always been kind of a rival for us. The games always go super close, so I'm excited to play them.
All right. Well, you're going to have to look forward for when they face off against Hawaii, but for now, it's going to be an early night sign-off. We'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. They have a multitude of jobs, many offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. You can live here, work here, and serve here with the Idaho Army National Guard. You reach out to them on Instagram at iGuardGaming. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining, and here are your top 5 plays. There's 2 left, hanging back. Rariana down to only 33 health. They move up forward, and Rariana secures it with a quad. Boise State with a huge lead out.
Just being aggressive in nature. The Trailblazer doesn't find very much other than the bullets from Crocs. To find 2 more, David Gravy gets 1 and Crocs close.
Down to just 1. No rifles, no problem for the Broncos. They're looking for the final player, and they get it for Flawless, tying it up for.
I don't know if he has enough time to defuse the spike, though. He does.
got it.
He does. He's got it. Man,
Scalasis.
what a clutch by Scalasis. That's for the highlight reel.
All the Tampa players coming rolling around this corner.
Like
Might
this.
be right here. Bam.
Boom!
2, 3.
I told you were gonna like
Ace
this.
it. Ace
Ace
it.
it with